Hello everyone. So in this particular video, we will basically try to answer the question, how much time is required if you want to get started with ML and actually make a, let's say, a career out of ML or data science or deep learning and stuff. So this is basically the things that I covered in my video, which is basically the roadmap for machine learning, okay, or data science. However, in that video I did not mention how much time that you can expect to you are expected to give in the subtopics or and the topics. Let's say, for example, how much time you need for basic maths, or how much time you need for matplotlib, OpenCV, NLTK, and all those things. So basically this is just an add-on, or let's say a continuation of that particular video. But however, don't worry, if you haven't seen that video, you can stick along and still get everything from here. Okay, so how much time? Now I'm going to go step by step, because these are the things that will be needed, and then try to figure out how much time is needed actually to become very, very good at deep learning. So first, as I said, you need to do basic maths. Now in basic maths, there are a lot of things, but I told you need to stick on these three topics, okay? Statistics and probability, linear algebra, calculus. Now, according to me, this depends on your background, okay? So if you are from a math background and you have done, let's say, if you're doing graduate program, and then basically graduate in India, graduation means after 12th standard you basically take 4-year BTech. I know it is a little bit different in the US and other countries, but whatever you all call as graduate, okay, the main degree after your high school and all those things, so that's graduate. If you have your these subjects in your graduation, then you can also say that it will hardly take you, let's say, 2 to 3 weeks in order to just revise. Okay, but let's say you're on a different spectrum, you are not familiar with all these topics, then trust me, it's going to take a long time. I would even say that it's going to take you about 2 to 3 months. Okay, so let's say 1 month per topic, because again, I assume you'll have to go from scratch. Okay, so there are a lot of things that you need to cover over here in statistics also. Let's say there's regression, then there is correlation here that you need to study, but you also need to study the things that are not that may not be very, very relevant to even data science. Probability, again, you'll need to study Bayes theorem and all those things. So all of these things is going to take at least a month. Okay, same thing for linear algebra, even this is going to take a month. Starting from matrices, you'll be learning about transformations and all the other things. You'll be learning about, let's say, eigenvalues, which are used in LDA and principal component analysis, PCA, and all those things. Calculus, again, it depends on your background, but again, if you just want to even cover it, will take you 2 months. But let's say you have some experience, is going to take 1 month. So so 3 months if you don't have any experience, but 2 to 3 weeks, that's more than enough if you have experience, and I think most people will actually belong from this category. Okay, so that's there. Then you have to cover NumPy. Now it's not that you have to cover this particular library, to its full. Obviously you don't have to do that, but you have to at least do the basics over here. Okay, so this is going to take you at least, because this part, this multiplication of tensors and dot products, this might seem very easy, but the problem is that you have to understanding of the axis. You have written it over here. In order to understand, how to multiply let's say m cross n into a n cross p matrix, but do you know how to multiply m cross n cross q cross r cross pqrs, and multiply it with a matrix that is s cross t cross u cross v, and how this multiplication is even done in such a high dimension? So these are the things that you need to understand. Obviously we cannot imagine things more than, in more than 3 dimensions, but you need to understand. Then again, dot products, this might be easy. Even transpose, again, transpose is of a simple matrix is easy, but how you're going to do the transpose in a matrix that is of this tensor that is of 5-dimensional? Inverse, same problem. So what you need to understand is, once you increase the dimensions, the complexity increases, and this is the conceptual understanding is NumPy is more important, rather than actually be able to implement a function. Okay, because there are a lot of things. Let's say if somebody gives you a matrix and then asks you how to you'll take out the, let's say 13th row, okay, or let's say 15th column. So all these things, basically, now this is easy to understand in a 2-dimensional matrix. Again, think of a 5-dimensional tensor. So understanding, indexing, again same thing, this is basically indexing over here. This will be a little bit difficult. And after that, random generation, basic probability. Random generation is random number generation is not going to be that difficult. You can do it in, I would say in a matter of couple of minutes or even hours. But basic probability, especially basic probability distributions, okay, these are going to take time. For example, normal distribution, and you also have, let's say, uniform distribution, and not only understanding this but also implementing it in NumPy. So this might take time. So I am saying this will take you around again 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, 2 to 3 weeks this is also going to take. But again, assuming that you have no experience. If you have experience, 1 week is more than enough. Okay, so there are two different type of people. Okay, one that have experience and one that do not have experience. Okay, these people will take less time, and obviously these people will take more time, right? Now let's go to the third part, pandas. Same story. Okay, but here the good part is you can skip all of this 5 to 8. You can skip for now if you are a beginner. This is not going to take you a lot of time. If I say 5 days is enough, okay, or even say 3 days is enough, because here you don't have to imagine a lot. Data frame is only 2D. It's like this, in tensor can be, let's say, n dimensional. Okay, so you have to actually understand a lot here, but data frame is always 2 dimensional. It's going to be n cross let's say p cross q. Okay, where p is the number of rows and q is the number of columns. So basically what I mean to say is that this is going to be easy, as the 3 days is also enough. But yes, when you come to date time, because in date time there are a lot of things. Okay, you have to learn a lot of things. A rolling window, maybe concept is a little bit easy. Group by, again, it will be involved. It will take some time. Again, plotting, not very important, but you can do. So you can basically skip it for now. Okay, these are the things that you need to cover, and it's not going to take more than 3 days. Okay, 5 days on a let's say, if you don't really have a lot of time. Again, matplotlib will also not take a lot of time, because you basically have to use API, that is a function, and then create a chart. You don't have to understand what is there are so many, let's say, histogram itself. So let's say plt.hist. There are so many parameters over here, but mostly we just use one, or let's say at max 2 parameters. That's what we use. That's how many parameters we use, and that's it's not going to take a lot of time. And the same story goes for like simple plot, histogram, bar chart, scatter plot, all of this. Okay, so 1 or 2 parameters for each function, hardly 1 day or half a day. Okay, but again, this is not something that we can skip, because definitely some amount of visualization will be required. Now OpenCV, it's a completely independent library. Nobody can say I am an expert of this, but what I am talking about is you need to have a working knowledge, so that you can use the idea of this library into your deep learning, machine learning, and all those things. So to me, if you really ask, I would say 2 weeks is more than enough. Okay, because you will be doing the basic things like reading an image, then changing the color of the image from let's say from RGB to grayscale, then maybe a little bit of transformations and all the other things, those things. Basically this will help you in data augmentation. Okay, but still I would say 2 weeks is more than enough. And the same story goes for NLTK. Even I would say 1.5 week is fine. You say 1.5 week is also fine for NLTK, because there are a lot of things that you might need to learn along with NLTK, for example, WordNet, and this is also going to take time. That's why I'm saying 2 weeks is enough for this also. Okay, otherwise the library is very simple. Okay, library won't take more than let's say 4 days. Okay, max 4 days. But the things that come along with it, this one, Glove, and sometimes you also need to think about n-grams and other things. So these might take some time. That's why I'm giving it 2 weeks. Okay. After that, sklearn. Now the problem with sklearn is that all these algorithms and the ones that I haven't mentioned also need to be understood theoretically. These need to be understood theoretically. Now the theoretical understanding is going to take a lot of time. So either, if you are a starter, trust me, this is going to take you 3 to 4 months. I'm sorry if that hurts, but yes, this is how much it's going to take. You need to understand everything in depth. If you're a starter, 3 to 4 months. If you have some experience with all of this, I would say 1 to 2 months. But this is again if you're just focusing on sklearn, which is quite a difficult task, because we all have lives, and there are other things that we need to do. But let's say you are a strong person, you have the guts to do it, and you are dedicating a lot of your time, if not all of your time, then I think 1 to 2 months is enough for you. Okay. There are other things, I have just written here, but there are other models like PCA model, which is basically used for dimensionality reduction. So dimensionality reduction, and there are other things as well, so this might take some time. I would say again 1 to 2 months. Now, lastly, PyTorch. Now this is an ocean. Okay, I have just written 5 topics here. This one itself is going to take you months. LLMs, it's not that easy, especially because you are having to deal with so many high level things. Let's say a simple neural network, again, it will not take a lot of time. It will just take 1 to 2 days. But let's say if you do not have a good understanding, this can take a week. For example, I'll talk about my experience. I implemented a simple neural network from scratch using only NumPy. Yeah, understanding everything, it took me 1 week. Understanding each and everything in a simple neural network, not convolutional neural network, nothing, just implementing simple neural network is going to take you 1 week. Why? Because here you are going to do so many things. You're going to do back propagation, you need to understand backprop. This will also this is actually the one that takes most of the time. Activation functions, all the other things, this is also going to take some amount of time. So what I'm saying is that depends in how much of a depth you want to go, but this will take you time. Okay, so this will take you 1 to 2 days if you're not doing things from scratch. If you're doing things from scratch, you need to learn how to write, let you use a class, model, and then nn dot module. This nn dot module is nothing, but the way it will confuse you is like, you're going to spend a lot of time. Again, same story goes for convolutional neural network. You will need to understand what are convolutions, what is padding, what is convolution, what is padding, what is max pooling. Understanding these theoretical concepts is going to take a lot of time. You will the biggest problem that I had was understanding how features worked. Now what, when you say number of features, how does this work, understanding this, and how the feature maps are made when the images pass through the layers. This thing took me so much of time to just to understand that. Okay, so I'm saying this will also take you 2 weeks. Is going to take 2 weeks. Okay. RN and LSTM, oh my god, just if you want to learn all of this from scratch, this will all take 1 month or at least 2 weeks. I don't want to scare you, but I have to say this. It's good if I say that doing deep learning PyTorch is going to take you 1 complete year. Just this seventh model is going to take 1 year. Then trust me, I'm not lying. I am not lying. Transformers, understanding attention mechanism is going to take you 2 to 3 days. Just the attention mechanism on one single head. What are key value query pairs and all the other things? This is going to take you 2 to 3 days. Right. And after that, you have to stack all of this, and then you understand, what is teacher forcing, and how different type of and I've just explained the architectures over here, the types of problems that you get. Oh my god, types of problems. And after that, there are pre-trained models, transfer learning. I haven't even got into things like federated learning and all those things. They are in the deep learning framework. They are under deep learning, federated learning and other things. But what I'm trying to say is, if I say this is going to take you 1 complete year, I will not be wrong. So if you really ask me, how much time do I think the entire, from let's say a beginner person to a pro person, this is going to take you minimum 2 years. I am saying this is minimum. But again, there are a lot of things over here, that comes along the way. Do you have programming experience? If that is not there, then add 6 months to it, because just by writing hello world, you'll not be able to do it, right? So you need to learn Python. Do you know Python or not? So again, if that is the case, then you say 2.5 years. This is not going to be very simple if you don't know Python. Other things as well. What is your background? Do you have background in maths? Do you have background in statistics? If yes, fine. Otherwise, This is, I would say, still 2 years is very less if you are not having a background. I would say 2 to 3 years. Let's say programming is also included. So this deep learning is not that simple. It's not your web development and other things. Now I'm not trying to belittle any um, domain or anything, but trust me, deep learning is not simple. It will take you time. um, I know you might have questions and doubts regarding this. Please feel free to reach out in the question in the comment section. I will, if I don't reply, but trust me, I am reading all the comments and all the questions. Okay, so I hope you like the video, and if you have any questions, please go in the comment section. Thank you very much, and bye.